Here's my Gentex 710CS smoke alarm, plus strobe. As you probably figured, the strobe is designed to alert hearing impaired people. Now let's take a look at the strobe here. Switch to macro mode. Now you'll notice these four ridges here, or facets if you will. They're designed to distribute the light. They're on the inside of the strobe, and as you can see they run the length of the strobe unit. Now, Gentex has used this strobe and variants of it in many of their alarms. Of course, they've used it in these. They've also used it in their GX4 series strobes. The GX4 120 is the only one they make nowadays, but they had the DC versions too. GX4 120 is 120 volt AC. Then they also had the strobes in their GX90 mini horn strobes, their SHG, GMS, and GOS horn strobes. Here's a strobe from one of my SHGs that died. And also a version with the flared out sides, like this, was used in the Simplex 9501 series strobes and strobe plates. Now let's look at the lens and the difference here. As you can see, this strobe from the SHG has a reflector and a shorter strobe tube. Well, this one has no reflector, and it's got the long strobe tube, almost the whole length of the strobe there. Now there's four different lenses I've seen. There's this one, of course, which I never even realized existed until I found this unit back in Monday. Then the plain version like this. Then there's a version that had the ridges on the bottom and top, like from here to and here to here. And I'll show you a picture of that right now. Then there was one where the whole lens was faceted. I'll show you a picture of that right now. So let's look at this further. Gentex Test Weekly. It has a 3-position test button that Gentexes have. Test 1, normal. One of the test 2 labels right there, but it's being hidden by the strobe. We've got the warning, read instruction manual to order, write address on back, write to address on back. Power on, detector will not operate without power. But again, the power label is being hidden by the strobe there. Now here's the label. Smoke detector model number 710CS. Operating voltage 120. Current milliamp 60, 300 in alarm. Now usually these are at 177 candela. But this one, I'll get back to the label there, is only 120. Since this is an older alarm. For service, return to Gentex Corp. And then gives their address. Now another thing about this label, even though it says 120 candela, I'm pretty sure by 93 Gentex had already gone to the 177, but don't quote me on that, because this label says refer to owner's manual dated 1984, so this label could have been from 1984. So now let's look at the back. So here's the back, single end or multiple station detector, 39475. Here's the date, and 710CS 02/10/93. And then that's the New York City approval. So, now, what's interesting about this one is its sound. Most of the Gentexes, like this one, have a slower pulsating sound like this. But this one has got a very fast pulsating sound, very similar to the ESG Genesis. We'll sound it off here. Now before we test it, we'll touch on the light here. Again, that's your power on indicator. But it flashes. instead of being on continuously like a lot of other hardwired alarms. The light is on continuously when this unit is an alarm, which we're going to find out now. Now, this is going to be really loud, and there's going to be a strobe. So here we go. Now the strobe will continue to flash for a little while after the alarm went off. Now that strobe is pretty bright. To me it seems brighter than 120. And I don't have any other 120 candela devices in my collection. The closest thing I have is 110. So let's compare that to a 110 candela device. Okay, I've got the lights out. Now I'm going to compare it to is my Wheelock RSS 24MCW, which is set to 110. Now, I warn you, there's going to be multiple strobes here, so if you're epileptic, don't watch this part. And again, it's going to get really loud. So here we go. Going to let this one start. Go up to the ceiling. As you can see, they're about the same. So maybe it truly is 120. I'm not sure about how the brightness scales. 110 to 120 and 177. Not sure how it scales up. So, but anyways, that's my Gentex smoke alarm.